Yo, hello guys, Afam here, with a full guide on Queen Ansurek on Mythic difficulty. This guide comes out a bit later than usual, we killed it twice already, but if you're about to arrive on the boss or you're still in phase 2 or 3 for example, you might find some tips and tricks here helpful. I will mention raid movement and mechanics, but not go over tank stuff too much. So, we're looking at our kill video here. Starting off with the raid being stacked in order to drop pools in relatively one spot. They drop quite fast, so don't greet the cast and move out. For roots, we are breaking set 1 and 2 for sure, and 3 if you can. For raid leader, make sure that you have a plan on who's breaking how. You can see Paladin freedoms and Hunter freedoms are really good, Tiger's Lust. And if you can't break the third set, you're supposed to go on the boss. More so in a bit. And for positions, we do like to have melees keeping uptime. That's why we assign specific spots for melees. We did it for ranged as well. Although in reality, after a lot of pulls, it's as easy as find a spot where you don't overlap with others and place them close to previous stuff on the ground. Don't be in too much in the front of the boss, because you leave the webs on the floor. The lines. In order to dodge them consistently, you want to at least spawn 2 out of the 3 before you move. Ideally, you let all 3 spawn and then move in a safe spot. It's as easy as that, pretty much. Then toxins number 1. There's only 2 circles here. What we like to do is we have the boss relatively close to the edge, so that if the circle guy is at the edge of the room, you can see here the exact placement actually. What we do is we prioritize the circle being behind the boss, so where we came from. Having the circle slightly touch the hitbox of the boss, so that melees can go in here and keep uptime. And because we place them behind the boss, it will be easier to dodge the wave. The second one here is for ranged. We just place them, same thing, behind the boss, somewhere in front of these hexagonal lines. Then jumpers have been assigned. We are using the Northern Sky Vikara, and I think this is the Visario sheet where you can assign everything here. And for assignments, we usually just screenshot this, paste it in our Discord so that everybody knows these guys are the jumpers, and everybody knows are they supposed in the outer or inner circle. The popping timer, you can follow the Vikara that tells you when to go. You can also follow the cast bar. Anything for the first circle in between 1.7 and 1.3 seconds of the cast left is good. Because these guys are 2 seconds in the air and then they land. So they want to land after the wave has gone out. And the second guy, they just jump as early as possible. The earlier you jump, the more time you will have to dodge the wave. And we can also see the wave is going to be placed here. My eyes are here to dodge the waves, and we can imagine if this circle was placed in front instead, or even worse, over here, we would just jump into the circle, making dodging waves easier. That's why we place them behind the boss and to the edge. So now my eyes are over here to dodge the waves that come out. These guys are supposed to just move out of the raid, dodge this waves, my eyes over here, dodging the next. Then we're placing pools in one place to keep a lot of space on the floor. Moving a bit, placing for roots, we're just not in front of the boss, we keep it close to the rest. Break ourselves. Dodging lines here, as easy as just move in a good spot. And for boss position, you can see relatively somewhat to the edge of the room, and also keep some space for melees to be able to attack from the back. Now we do have 3 circles. We disregard the colors, by the way. We are using common sense on which player needs to go where. This will never be an issue. And you can see that players are supposed to be behind the boss. and overlapping their circle close with the other circle. This guy over here could even be standing a bit more upwards and a bit more back, where my mouse curve is around over here. If he's standing in the web, it doesn't deal too much damage actually, but it would make dodging the waves a bit easier in a bit. So now we can see that 2 of the circles are in melee. That's why the timing for the first jumper needs to be quite accurate, so that the second jumper also can jump before the wave hits the blob. That's why if the first guy, let's say, goes at 1.5, the second guy can go at 0.4, and both of them are pretty easily done. Now we're dodging waves. My eyes are over here. I know these guys go out anyways. I make sure to dodge these blobs. And then I get ready to dodge blades and bait pools. So this is actually the hard overlap in phase 1. So we have a debuff from jumping. This will explode for rate damage. And then the pools that drop, it gives another rate damage. So right now, before this debuff run out, is a really good moment, for personal defensive DRs. So we pop that. We dodge the lines ideally backwards to previous stuff on the ground in order to bait the pools in a good spot. If you're melee, you can also place them at the edge of the room, like over here is fine. Don't be the guy that dodges the lines to the right and place a pool over here. So we're doing that, and then moving forward with the boss, getting in position for near roots. This is also the third set. If you're someone who can't break out themselves, you're supposed to go here in front of the boss to be able to be broken out by having people cleave off the boss. You should be in front instead of in the back, because it gives everybody more time to break you out, actually. So you can see the warrior has spun, breaking them out. We're dodging another set of lines. We're getting ready for the third set of toxins. Now the third set we always do on this line over here. It's gonna leave some space that is not used actually over here, which is quite good for intermission. More so in a bit. So, third set of toxins. You can see how they position, slightly behind the boss, overlapping the lines again. If they're ever too close inside of the boss, the tank can save it by moving the boss a tiny bit more forward. And again, range guy is somewhat on this line of the hexagonal. Then we are dodging lines towards the toxin. Especially group number 1 needs to do this, because they need to jump quite early after dodging the lines. So they are kind of baiting here on the boss and dodging these lines by moving into the toxin. And we can see the third line is about to despawn, and the toxin guy is about to jump in less than 0.5 seconds here. So they are jumping. The second group in melee waits out the debuff and then jumps as soon as possible as well. And third one jumps as soon as possible as well. Then my priority is to dodge waves. My eyes over here to dodge these, and then dodge these. And here we are in intermission. Now we can see this is the space where we have left that is being used now for some melees. So we do get pulled in. Some melees are able to immune the pull-in. That's why they are moving over here. But they're not able to immune the... how do I call it? The magic debuff that leaves a web on the ground. So as this pull-in happens, we are leaving this web that is also spreading over time. So that's the reason why on the first pull-in, these melees, they will go to the right and drop their webs over here. If there was no safe space here, they would still do this. They would just take more damage by standing inside of the webs. But with a personal, which is everybody supposed to pop anyways, it's easily livable. Now we did have a Holy Priest here, so we do have Symbol of Hope, meaning where we pop the first defensive over here on the second Toxin jump, we do get it back for the first pull-in. Now, ranged are supposed to be quite far in the back. Melees should do the same thing. You don't want to pop your web too much to the left because it's spreading. We want to keep this space free of any webs. So melees as well, they hug the right side of the puddles on the ground and they come far back as well. Then we are moving quite some steps left. We can see these things are spreading. That's why we move left. We're dodging the wave. And the third wave is the one that we need to dodge while getting gripped in. So we make sure to dodge this wave because we're getting gripped. This second grip will deal even more damage than the first one. So this is where you pop the big personals. We have a barrier over here. And if you're ever low on HP, this is also where you're supposed to be health potting right before the pull. Now we're landing. We do like a wind rush over here to give us more speed. We do get slowed down over time. Also, in terms of breaking the shield, at the moment of this recording, with 11% of the raid buff that we have and the full gear, we'll need about 2 people popping CDs. Maybe you need about 3. A lot of guilds I've seen use Frosty K and Shadow Priest if you have that. For us, it was Frosty K popping CDs and Feral Druid. And then obviously some people have like 30-second CDs or something. You just want to break the shield, ideally as late as possible to get CDs back. But as of now, with the nerf boss, it's not that important anymore to squeeze out anything. Just make sure that that you're dodging these waves, especially sometimes as the shield breaks. Sometimes there's still a wave spawning. So just keep an eye out right here. It happens again, actually, on this pool. Could move forward a bit. Sorry for that. So as the boss dead, the waves actually still spawn. So don't sleep on that. Then phase 2 begins. Still being on the main platform, you need to assign the raid in two groups. The main focus you should do when assigning these groups is you want to assign cooldowns for platform number 2. There's a lot of ads on platform 2 that need to die, and you need to make sure that you write out who's popping CDs on which ad. We use this over here. You can see that on south side, which is the caster side, we have 1 guy for every ad. Although the expeller here is linked with the other side. So ideally this expeller is also the ad that lives the longest so that both sides finish at the same time. So make sure north side has damage on Guardian and Worshipper. This is enhanced for us and this is a Warrior. And then south side you need ranged for the ranged ads. And someone on the Worshipper as well, which is a shielded guy. Then once you have platform 2, you can backtrack basically. Backtrack on who's taking the portals. And based on that, you will manage to see, okay, who do I need to send north? Who do I need to send south? Yeah. We'll have a look at the replay here. So we get to the ad. The ad needs to be interrupted. We are using a kick recover for that, so you need 1 guy marking the ad actually for the kick recover to work. Ranged, in order to dodge these orbs a bit more consistent, we are kind of spread out in a circle around the ad, so that we don't spawn 2 set of orbs next to each other. So range, you shouldn't stack on each other, you should be spread out around the mob. So here priority is to keep interrupts and dodging orbs, as well as have 2 guys assigned to take the portal. For us it's 2 healers. They take the portal, we can see it over here. They come out, they dispel themselves. We take rate damage when they dispel them. And they leave a puddle on the floor. So on this platform we only do 1 portal. Then we get ready to get knocked. Make sure the angle of the knock is actually correct, because you can easily jump left or right. And we get to platform 1. There's 2 ads, Guardian and Expeller. Both of them have linked HP. So your damage on north and south doesn't matter. They die at the same time. You do want to have enough damage though to beat the third pull-in. And typical pumpers here are Boomkin and Warlocks with Havoc. Although for Warlocks to have CD spec, they actually need the H-Paladin spell that reduces their CDs. Forgot the name. If you don't have an H-Poly, they need to, I believe, send their CDs at 8 seconds before the pull actually happens. Just a little side note. And then rogues, sub-rogues here are really good at pumping CDs as well. Anyways, we land here, platform 1. We are aware of ranged people attacking the Expeller because this guy will teleport over here and Melis can't attack it instantly. So we just assign ranged on Expeller, Melis on Guardian. The Expeller, sorry for that. The Expeller also sends a beam. 90% of the time it's towards a melee. It can happen on tank or ranged, but it's most of the time on melee. So ideally you want melees to not bait the beam on top of the portal. Best case scenario obviously would be far left or right, but if it's not happen, we just need to be aware of the beam. So once again, we attack the correct target. We are ready to get pulled in, at the same time dodging the beam. And also at the same time, we have 2 people over here that need to take the gate within 4 seconds, otherwise the gate explodes. So what they do is they take the gate now while the pull-in is happening. Once they've taken that gate, the pull-in for them gets cancelled actually. So they take it right here. Everybody else make sure to not jump off the platform with the pull-in. And same as intermission, you also leave a weapon on the ground, which doesn't really matter too much. You just don't want to have them over here at the bridge. Also, these swirlies are important to dodge. We almost never had anyone falling off to that, but if you get hit here, they knock you back. Then the people that have taken the gate, as you remember, they come out with a debuff that needs to be dispelled. Once they get dispelled, they leave the puddle on the floor. So the first guys, they come out and they move opposite of the bridge where we go next. They just go in a safe spot, get dispelled there, and leave a puddle on the ground. Another beam to be dodged. You can see our damage is really even, and we want to beat the third pull-in. Now we can see the pull-in actually started happening, but if we click both crystals, the bridge will spawn and the pull-in will actually cancel. So it is quite nice to call out to be ready to click the crystals and have at least a ranged guy be on the back crystal here. And mostly melees click the front crystal. So we are heading up to platform 2. The bridge will actually despawn in a couple seconds. So you want to have either a speed up with Windrush or Roar. Or what we do, we use a Warlock Gate here to go up. Skitterers, it's really nice to pad your damage, but make sure to not pump CDs instantly. Let the tank get aggro on these. The tank will just move up, get to the big ad, and that's where you can cleave. Also, on the south side, the caster side here, we do have ranged ads on the platform coming down. For us, it was more helpful if we do not get the first pull-in, because for the pull-in you need to go quite far back, and then I'm out of range of the acolytes. So we wanted to bait the first pull-in always on the north side, on the other side. And in order to do that, we have the warrior jumping up, because the first person to get up ahead of the bridge is the team that gets the first pull-in. So the warrior is doing that on the other side. And we are coming up ready to pump CDs. Now, second platform happens Couple things are happening here. We see the Expeller. The Expeller is going to teleport to the front and cast a beam on Melis. We do not want the beam to be on the gate and also not too much on the right side here. We want the beam actually to be either left or ideally far left or right, where it doesn't matter at all. So what Melis do, they come up the bridge, they hug left side, and they're actually moving forward over here in order to bait the beam. We'll see that here in a second. The Expeller has teleported in front. I think he could also be on the left side. And then we can see the beam is coming onto Melis, which are hugging left, so that it's no problem to dodge. And then Melis are just pumping their CDs on the correct target that they're assigned to. Whereas ranged, we also do damage on what we assigned, and some people are assigned for these acolytes. They have like a 15-second cast that needs to be interrupted. We just have one person assigned for kick left and right. We're not really using the kick weak hours here. And sometimes a second kick is needed as well. So we pump damage. We dodge the beam. Maybe we see a difficult overlap when we get pulled. We can see also that 2 people are taking the gates. Those people are mostly people that pumped CDs on the first platform, because everybody else is pumping CDs basically on this platform. And so what else is happening? We can see that not only do the portal guys come out with a debuff that deals rate damage when it gets dispelled, also one healer on each platform gets the same debuff actually. So we do get the 2 set of debuffs that needs to be dispelled for quite some rate damage. So this right here is another good spot for personal DRs. Or health pot after first dispel as well. So that's what they're doing. We can see the portal guy. Portal is back right on my screen. You can see the debuff on the healer. He's just moving out to the edge, dispels him. And this guy also goes left, gets dispelled where it's not in the way of where we're going. Then the pull-in happens on our side. For this pull-in, it's really important to not fall off the edge. The platform is actually different than the first one, meaning because it's shaped like so. If you stand over here, you would be at the same distance like me, but you would actually fall off the edge because the end of the platform is over here. So you want to be in the middle where there's the most distance to the front in order to not fall off. Obviously, if you have jumps and shadow step and so on, you can time it a bit better. Another thing to watch out for when the pull-in happens, sometimes the frontal beam right here, we can see it is in the front on the tank actually, which is lucky. Sometimes it hits a melee and it goes straight through us. And you can get hit by the beam while you're getting pulled in. So you want to ideally bait the beam away, but also position yourself so you don't get pulled in through the beam, if that makes sense. Then also we have the second set of people going through the portal as well. You want to do that before the ads are actually dead, so that they have enough time to come out, get dispelled without rush, and then move up with the rate. Same thing actually if we go back to platform 1 shortly. Sometimes you do have a lot of damage and you wouldn't even need the second group to go through portals. But because you have CDs assigned on different ads, these second guys, they actually want to take the gate. So we see Lauren and Alario. We could kill the ads in time for them not to need to take it, but they will take it anyways in order to be on the correct side, which also means they should take it rather early before the ads are actually dead, so that they have enough time to get dispelled and be in position. So they should take it right here when the ads are on like 20%. They did. We can see they come out, get dispelled, and they're in time to actually move up with the rate. So I think that's about it for platform 2. Quite hectic. Again, in order of importance, melee hug left, we bait the beam, we dodge the beams, we send CDs on the correct ads, and we don't get pulled off the platform by standing actually in the middle on the back. That's about it. Also, the Expeller is the only guy that's linked with HP, so DPS should just need to make sure that both sides of platforms actually die rather at the same time. Otherwise, if one group runs up while the other is still killing an ad on their side, it will get scuffed with the portals and stuff. So kill them at roughly the same time. Then we move up the bridge. Same thing, have a Windrush or a Gateway for that. Let the tanks keep aggro on the Skitterer. And we get the third platform with the Void Speaker, which is the same guy as on the main platform over here. And what learned we here? We learned that the range should somewhat spread out far away from the ad, so that melees can dodge the orbs, and also range can dodge the orbs easier if we are not stacked. And we need some interrupts. Interrupts actually are they exactly the same as on this platform. You do that by having the same 4 people also take a gateway. So now the 4 people that are kicking this ad taking gateways on platform 1 and 2, so that they are all in the same group to kick the other ad on platform 3. That's about it. We dodge the orbs, we have the kicks. Obviously, if you have a backup kick, just kick late in case it gets missed. Make sure to kill the skitterers as well, because the tanks do take some damage of it. Also, when coming up here, usual call out here is first dodge the first set of orbs, because it can happen quite fast as you come up. And also keep an eye on the portal timers for people to go through. We do see that, at least in theory, while moving up the bridge, they reset their timer. But it can still be delayed, and some people need to actually yeet and run straight through the portal. So they do that, they come out, they move to the side where we're not supposed to be next, get dispelled over there. And then the second guys, depending on your damage, they need to go through or not. We can see here that the first guy decided 5 seconds left. Momslav here, 5 seconds left. Okay, it's not enough time to kill the ad before that. So he went through the portal. Whereas Stop Anka here probably has enough time to just disregard this and kill the ad before that. Also, this guy over here, there's 2 options. If sorry, if he comes out here and the ad would die, we don't need to dispel him actually, and we just get knocked over to the next platform, and the dispel here would get removed by itself. Now for us, unfortunately, we can see it in a bit, he wanted to do that, but the debuff here runs actually out before we get knocked. So we do get the puddle underneath us, just need to move out of that. So have the timing in mind if you need to dispel it or not. Alright, much talk. We are in P3. Now, having world marks on the edges is quite nice, depending on what you've planned out as well. Good for callouts, and you need to know where to pick up essences. We only have 2 marks over here. We usually have 2 people assigned to place down marks. And then place 2 extra marks mid-side to indicate where the portals are supposed to go. But we're coming here, the boss always jumps to where he looks at. That's where to determine where to go. So he's jumping over here. We can see ranged are already in position for the next mechanic. You can see me here freestyling some marks. So mechanic is, we can barely see it on screen, the Infest and Gorge on tanks. One of the tanks takes the big hit with the circle, which is also spawning small ads that try to run into the boss. The other tank takes the big tank hits. While this is happening, there's gonna be puddles spawning underneath players. So we want to bait them in a spot which we don't need, which is for ranged. We bait them here at the edge and we just sidestep away from them. The melees do the same thing. We can see them here being stacked. And as the puddles spawn, they are moving with the boss basically forward. Then after that, they go through to kill the small ads that are spawning here. For range is the same thing. We just dodge the puddles. Then we are swapping to kill these small ads. They can't reach the boss. So we see the boss has some space in between them. We put down a ring of peace. Even a second ring of peace because we have double monk. I do believe once the ring of peace knocked them back 8 times or something, then it doesn't work no more, something like that. So ring of peace is really good for the initial distance, and then have things like Ursul's vortex, Incap totem, binding shot. That's what we're using. AoEing the ads, then the queen summons spawn, which are the big ads. If you cleave off the boss, you can actually hit quite a lot of these ads. Like my chain lightning would hit, I think even all of the ads here. A safe play, although, is to make sure at least the shield gets broken, so you're able to interrupt the cast, which just deals rate damage. So we can see that our boss movement is we are moving the boss to the middle ad. People can cleave off the ad, of the boss, onto the ad. Middle ad will die actually quite fast. Then the boss moves forward to the next ad where they can cleave again. You need some range to kill actually the backside ad here to make sure these die. Also quite important, we have wiped to it before. Once they die, they spawn an essence. We can see it right here. You can't pick it up right now. You're gonna drop it 14 seconds later, and you need to time it a bit better than that. So just a good call out is watch out for essences, don't pick them up. So don't stand over here basically hitting the ad. And we see myself getting a portal, Abyssal Infusion. We put down X and green marker, which are the portal placements. One is inside, one is outside. Now, if you're the guy that gets the portal, once it goes to 0, it will actually knock you forward. So you need to face the way which direction you want to get knocked. So don't look down the hole, because otherwise you will fall down here. So you can see me here turning around. Portals are placed. This is also the time where people pick up their essences. Have that somewhere assigned anywhere so people know which type of essences they need to pick up. We do it like so. We have double tank picking these up, and then any tanky class picks up blue, for example. So they pick it up while dodging the flying orbs shooting out of the portal. And we are ready on the inside to take it. Ideally, you'll have a speed up right here, so that once we take it, we actually are sped up in order to spread out for these lines over here. And we can also see that quite a lot of people are actually not taking the portal, which will make it easier the more you have. Anything that can jump, step, blink over this line is kind of standing in the front, and they do that. So we have Warrior Leap, DH, I think double jumps over. Rogues will shadow step to the mage that blinked over, and so on. Warlock TP, Monk Transcendence, they do that. While we take the gateway, we get the circle, and then we spread out. Really good to have some sort of assignment for this, just so that people know where they're supposed to go, so you don't overlap them by accident. Dodging the orbs as well, quite self-explanatory, as well as the lines that are happening. Just be aware that these are happen. We're dodging orbs, we're dodging lines. Also, we can see that this is the time where the essence guys that picked up the essence will drop it again. It's based on a timer. They want to drop it behind where we came from, basically. So they drop it in the back while we move forward with the boss. We can see them here being dropped. Boss movements needs to be quite quick here, actually. They want to go over all the way to this pillar over here. So they do that while the range get in position to bait the next set of puddles. We get the tank mechanics that spawn the small ads. We dodge the puddles. We have Ring of Pieces and CC and damage for the small ads. And we do that. Then we dodge the lines into big ads, into shackles. Probably the most difficult part in phase 3. So the big ads are spawning. We do have 3 people with shackles that deals rate damage based on distance. So what we do, we are stacking on blue with AMCs and barriers. Whereas the shackles guys, they go in front of us, somewhere around here in front, 1 world marker in front. They do a small triangle in theory. They pop their biggest personals they have in order to live it. If you have external sec, paints up and stuff, it's also really good to use on them. But you can use them on tanks as well. In theory, this is what it should look like. We are stacking a blue in raid cities, and in front of the next world mark, they have this shackles triangle. Now, we did spawn a bad set of ads. What we call it, we spawned 1 at star instead of in the front. And this is because the boss over here is on our side. In order to spawn good ads, the boss would actually need to be ahead on the other side of the line over here from this pillar. So just for consistency, you want to ideally move the boss a bit more in front in order to spawn an ad. I think it's orange, maybe even once more. Instead of this one, we want to have it in front. But regardless, we are stacked here on blue. We have the boss on blue as well. The idea is that we cleave off the boss, or actually this one, you can cleave off the ads in order to interrupt that cast, and the boss gets moved along all the ads, having just efficient cleave. Regardless, this is the big hit from the shackles. You want to be full HP before that, otherwise you take a health pot. Same thing, you assign personals for this as well. So we're healthy, we take the big hit. We are cleaving off the boss or off the ad in order to interrupt the cast. Because we have the bad spawn, ranged are supposed to actually kill this ad in the back that should normally be in the front. The boss is getting moved along, and as you know, he is now on the shackles, which is 1 world mark over. So shackles should die at this point just from cleave. We remember that the ad drops an essence, so quite dangerous to pick this up by accident. A call out for that is really good. So we want to kill the ads, interrupt their cast, because it deals rate damage. I think more and more the more they cast. And now we have 7 essences on the ground, 3 from the previous ads and 4 from these ads that need to get through the portal lines. So portal placement is just on same thing. On the middle line of the inner hexagon, we marked it with X and then 1 at the pillar outside on green. And here is where callouts are really good in terms of do you need a backup for the essence that you're assigned to or not, and then call out the colors and so on. Have 7 people assigned for this. It needs to be different people than previously, because these guys still have a debuff from picking up the essence. Although a tank can pick it up twice if they pop a personal as well. Even for them it deals quite a lot. So what we do is we have mostly people that can jump over the line assigned for this. So this would be Warlock is always playing ahead. He's kind of running forward, havocing the front 2 ads already, being able to pick up these essences. So we have Warlock, Warrior, DH, These are Evoker, Mage, Hunter, Evoker. So everybody has an essence, and otherwise call out if backups are needed. We're dodging orbs. This is the time where essences should be picked up. So they're getting picked up, and we take the gate. Spreading once again, have movement speed assigned for this to make it easier. And if you ever pick up an essence, it's also a good idea to pop a personal, because the dot quite hurts if you still have one. It does get a bit messy here on our pool. And we want to beat the third set of portals. Just because there's so many essences, we don't want to deal with them no more. But we do play the small ads, so boss lands, right? You get the small ads, so boss needs to move quite a bit. We're supposed to be way ahead, but anyways, regardless of that, we are baiting pools, ideally at the edge of the room. We can see it's quite messy for us. We dodge pools, we are ready to kill the small ads, because boss is still quite healthy. Everybody kills and stuns the ads, they can't reach the boss, or it's basically a wipe. So they need to be killed, and then you get the third set of big ads into another shackle. Depending on boss HP, you need to decide, do I kill the boss or do I kill ads? If you played it well enough, you always kill boss here. For us, it gets quite close, so I guess 6% is a good number to keep in mind for that. Which means option 1 is damage everything you have on the boss and kill it before you die to the casts. Or the more safe play, I guess, on this percent would be to actually cleave off the boss, kill the shields by cleaving off, and then being able to interrupt some of the casts, because they will wipe you in a short time. Shackles, because they deal raid damage based on distance, they're supposed to move all the way up front here, away from the raid, pop defensive, try to survive it. And then, yeah, at this point, you should kill the boss as well, because the portals come out. Even if the boss is healthy, because you don't play the portals, you wouldn't even need to place them in the correct spots, as long as they go out of the raid because of the raid AoE damage. Yeah. A lot of talk. I mentioned tips and tricks here, positions, and everything that came to mind without any notes. So yeah, we'll cut it here. Hopefully you learned something. Good luck on your proc, and see you guys around. Bye.